Yeah, what up? It's Epic Gamer 22. Blah 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 blah. It's time for another epic guide for how to play the video game. Hollow Knight. It's a good game. You should buy it. Silk Song is never coming out.
There has been no news to report for Silk Song today.
There's this thing in Hollow Knight called Path of Pain. Rip your balls off. It's hard. Today, we're going to learn how to beat it with this 100% epic guide. Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do any more of this intro. Let's just get right into it.
Oh my God.
Now, first of all, you actually have to get into the White Palace, which is where Path of Pain is. And, you gotta do all this shit. You gotta get all the dream nail, do all the essence, fight all the dream bosses, blah, 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 whatever. Once you get in there, you'll come across this little nook. And if you jump right through this wall here, you will be taken right to the place. Now, before we go in, we should make sure we have our correct charms. And really, you don't need that much. The only essentials that I would recommend are Mark of Pride, which gives your nail a longer reach, and Grub Song, which gives you some coom back after you take damage. Other than that, you don't really need anything else. I mean, I guess you can get Deep Focus or Hive Blood or something. I don't know, whatever. The point is, these are all that you really need.
To witness secrets sealed, one must endure the harshest punishment. Okay.
This first section involves a lot of precise wall jumping, so let's talk about it. Jump up here and then go over to this wall and then this wall, and make sure you jump around this buzzsaw here. Get used to that, you'll see lots of those around these parts. Wait for this buzzsaw to go back up before jumping over to the next wall. And then do a couple jumps over. You can go over to this left wall to get around the buzzsaw, or you can just jump around it like you did the last one. Next, you'll come to this part with these guys. Just bounce off them to get to this next wall here. And then you'll need to do one more bounce here. When you dash over to him, make sure you don't dash too far, of course, otherwise you'll hit the spikes. So bounce off him and then dash into the thorny tunnel of fun. Bounce off this guy to get your dash back. And then dash over here to this next guy. Now when you get over to these guys, make sure you don't move too far, otherwise you'll run right into them and you'll get knocked right into the thorns. My best tip is to get right in the middle here between these two bottom guys and just bounce off the two of them. And then you won't even really need to move at all. And you won't even really need to hit the top guy either. You can just dash right over to this wall. Now this next part, wait for the buzzsaw to go back down, then dash over to the other wall. Then wait for it to come back up and then jump around this buzzsaw over here. Or you can dash to the wall and jump down here. When we get to this part, we can jump off the wall and use a double jump. Do not dash to get into this little tiny nook because you'll need to save your dash for this part here. And then just make sure you don't hit the spikes on your way down, and there you go. That's the end of that first part.
Swaggin'.
Also, quick little tip, right at the beginning, you can crystal dash right over here, and there's a secret little guy, and you can get infinite coom from him. So that's fun. This second part, you gotta crystal dash from a certain point in the wall. There's this little thing sticking out. That's a good way to line yourself up. But just get that and then do some wall jumps over to the other walls, and then just bounce off these guys, and then you will reach the end of this part. This part is easy. Coming up to this little tower, we do a couple wall jumps, then jump over to the other wall, jump back over to the other wall, but you have to make sure you do a double jump. And then you can do a double jump to just barely make it. Now the door on the right here is locked, so we'll have to go to the left instead. This first room is presented with a bunch of buzzsaws and a shitload of thorns, so make sure you avoid those. And also stock up on some coom for later. What you want to do is fall down here and then dash over to the wall, or you can slide down the first wall until you hit the bottom and then dash to the other wall. Then wall jump up here, jump over this buzzsaw, and then make sure you dash at just the right time or else you'll hit the buzzsaw. And then just do a little pogo off the other buzzsaw and then double jump and you'll make it to the other section of this room. For this one, make sure you wait until the buzzsaw on the bottom is on the left and then drop down. As you're falling, move yourself a little bit to the right, but not too much, otherwise you'll hit the thorns. Then quickly dash to the left and double jump to get up to this wall here. And then once again, jump around these buzzsaws and get to this wall. Wait until the buzzsaw is on the right side and then just dash and double jump. And you'll be out of there. This next part, wait until the buzzsaw is going towards the right and dash over to these spikes. You can pogo off them, but make sure you don't pogo too high, otherwise you will hit the thorns. So pogo and then immediately dash. And you'll have to do that twice to get over. Jump over the buzzsaw when it comes back around and then just dash over here and you'll get to the next part. Now this part can seem daunting at first, but with a little tip, it can be not that bad. So jump over here, dash in between these buzzsaws, and then you're going to want to pogo off the buzzsaws, and then dash, and then pogo, dash, pogo, double jump over the buzzsaw, and then you'll reach the other side. When you dash and pogo, don't move the stick, so you're staying still while pogoing. You should be in a good position to not hit the higher up buzzsaw. When you get to the left side of this room, wait until the buzzsaw is at the bottom and then dash onto it and pogo up to the top. For this part, you're going to want to wait until the top buzzsaw is moving to the right and the bottom buzzsaw is on the left. Dash to the bottom one, then pogo off of it. Then dash over, hit the middle ones, and you're going to want to make sure you jump over the buzzsaw that's coming right for you. And then you should be fine as long as you hit the other buzzsaw on the right side of these two little ones. After that, you can hit the lever and go back down to go through that previously locked door. And make sure you actually hit the lever before you fall down. That would be kind of silly if you didn't.
Speedrun. Let's go. Are you kidding me?
For this next part, you're going to want to wait until the buzzsaw is going up and then dash over to the far wall. Wait until the buzzsaw comes back down and then up again to move on to this next part. Jump over to this wall and then dash and jump over to this wall. And then make sure the saw on the right here isn't coming down to get you. And then jump over to this wall and then jump and dash over to the wall on the far left. Now once you get here, you want to make sure the saw on the left isn't on its way down. It should be going up. Now you dash over to the left side of the wall, then you fall and then double jump to reach the other side of the wall. If you dash, you'll probably end up going too far, so make sure you don't dash. This double jump can be a little annoying to get. Make sure you just practice the timing of that. Then you jump over to this side. Make sure the saw is not in your way, of course. If the saw is in your way, you can always just slide on the wall for a little bit to wait until it passes you by and then jump up to the top. Now once we get here, pogo this buzzsaw, then dash and double jump over to this buzzsaw, pogo that one, dash and double jump over here, and then it's just a few more wall jumps and you're on to the next area. Now this area contains another hidden coom statue just going right through this wall here. So it's very helpful. Very nice. Crystal dash over here, then jump over to this wall, and now it's time to bounce on these guys again. Then dash over here, jump up here, and you'll reach this part with these saws. When you go over to this guy, make sure the first saw is on the bottom. Then bounce off this guy, dash over to the next guy while the saw is on the bottom, bounce off that guy, and then get to this point with the buzzsaws. Now what you're going to want to do when you get to these buzzsaws is get over to the left one and try to get as close to the edge of it as possible without hitting the thorns, of course. Then fall and dash and double jump over to the next buzzsaw and then do the same thing basically. This area is pretty tight because of just how narrow this hallway is, but these 2 jumps are all that's there. So once you get that, you bounce over here, do one more jump, and then bounce off this guy, and you'll make it to the final part of this hell.
Gabagool.
You shut the fuck up!
sir.
You shut the fuck
Let me
up!
get you a little bit.
You shut the fuck up! You shut the fuck up! I hope you die in a fire!
The cursed hallway of doom. This one I remember taking a long time to beat on my first playthrough because, well, this is the hardest part of this whole thing. But just perseverance and good luck will make sure you get through it with ease. And also make sure you're full on health and coom for a little surprise at the end. Now you can bounce off these spikes jetting out of the floor, or you can just crystal dash over them to reach this wall here. Then jump up, but not too far up, otherwise you'll hit the thorns, and dash over to the next wall. Then slide down and dash and jump over to this wall, and you'll reach this point with the spikes jetting out of the ground. Now when you jump and dash over, you want to make sure you time it right so that you can actually bounce off the spikes and not just fall into the thorns. And you'll reach this point with the buzzsaws. Wait until the buzzsaw here is on the bottom, then jump, bounce off of it, come over to this buzzsaw, which should be on the left side, and bounce off of that as you ride it over to the other side of the rail. When you get here, you'll want to jump over to the next buzzsaw, which should be making its way back to the left side. Then you'll reach this point with the 3 buzzsaws. When the buzzsaw on the middle is in the bottom, you can go and bounce off of it to reach the rightmost buzzsaw, which should be moving over to the right, and then you'll reach the final spike jetting out of the ground. Now for this last part, you want to wait until the buzzsaw on the bottom comes back on the left, and then bounce off of it, and then you'll want to dash and then jump up to this buzzsaw here and then bounce off of it. This jump is also really tight, but it shouldn't be that different from the other jumps that we just did in the previous room, so just give it a little practice, of course. Now you can bounce off the edge of this buzzsaw here until the bottom one comes back over to the right side, and then dash, bounce off of it, and dash through these buzzsaws and drop down into the last part of the Path of Pain, and it's just fighting these 2 guys. Now this is why I said stock up on coom and health, because these guys do deal 2 damage when they hit you, but if you made it this far, you'll probably be fine. I mean, hopefully you don't choke here, and then if you die, you have to do the whole thing again. That would suck. But really, for these guys, all you gotta do is spam the stomp, jump over their attacks. They don't really have that much health, so there shouldn't be a problem to deal with. And once you beat them, that's it. You have completed the Path of Pain.
That's right, baby. I just did it in like 10 minutes. And for the person who I made this video for, you know who you are. Let it be known that I just did this. This is actually the second time that I've done this, because the first recording I didn't pick up my microphone. So I actually had to beat Path of Pain 2 times in order to get this footage. So you know what? This proves once and for all that if I can do it, you can do it. So, get good already, bud. I love you, son. I love you, Dad. And then they died. GG.
I know this video is kind of short, but I wanted to do Hollow Knight because Hollow Knight is a good game and you should play it. And I already have another Hollow Knight video that I'm working on. If you've played this game before, you'll probably guess what it is. And oh boy, I can't wait for that because that video is going to be very big and very long. So in the meantime, treat this video as a sort of appetizer, I guess. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. But yeah, I don't really have an outro. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to punch the like button in the face like a boss. And I've rubbed around. Whoppers. Whoppers. Thank you guys. I'll see how you doing in the next video.
I never wish.